Well, hello and welcome back to our farmhouse. I have some homemaking to do today, which is part of my responsibilities every day. If there's anything you could say about homemaking, it is that it is repetitive. I remember whenever I first got married and I had our first home to keep, I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. We'd been married for about 10 months when we bought our first house. I was due with the baby in about 2 months. We had a lot of work to do to that house. We had to paint it from top to bottom. Once we got that all done, I quickly learned that there were certain tasks, especially when we started adding kids, that came up over and over again, and it really discouraged me. I didn't have a whole lot in my life up to that point that I didn't just check off the list and it be done, like turning in school assignments or projects. Keeping a home had a different feeling to it, and at first it really bothered me. I remember seeing dust building up on the baseboards or the toilet not sparkly clean yet again, and feeling like I needed some kind of system to make it easier. Maybe if I had a schedule where every Monday I did this task and every Tuesday I did this task, then I wouldn't feel like I was on this hamster wheel of it never actually staying clean. Now that worked for me for a little while, but the longer I do this job, and it's our 15-year anniversary today as I'm recording this, so I've been doing this job a while, the more I feel like I can take it in stride. I see tasks around the house and I can address them without all of the mental weight of feeling like, oh, this job's never gonna be done. It's kind of just part of the gig, and it's okay. I've come to terms with the fact that I will be maintaining this house and making it beautiful, and it's something that I now actually quite enjoy, putting my touch on it, shining things up. A few weeks ago, I spent 2 hours in our downstairs bathroom cleaning it. Now you might think, how could you spend that much time cleaning it? Well, we'd been doing cleans to it over the last year or two, but it needed a deep clean. We have really hard water, and I needed to chisel off the hard water and let bleach soak in the tub so that it was a bright white again. It felt so good whenever I got done with that bathroom. It was the most sparkly clean I'd ever seen that bathroom, and it just felt so satisfying. Now today, I have a few tasks on my list that involve maintaining my home. These are those infrequent tasks that pile up, that make the home look dingy and worn. In our current culture, it's tempting to take those items and just throw them away. But with a little bit of care, we can maintain our items in our home for much longer, keep them looking fresh. It feels really good and resourceful to do that. So the first task on my list today is a jute rug that I've had down in the living room for a while that has busted several threads, and so there's several holes all around the rug that I've just been vacuuming over and not worrying about that much, although they have bothered me when I look in and I see the carpet pad underneath. I don't love it, and so today I'm going to address that just by sewing them shut. I love doing tasks like this. It feels so satisfying to see something that was in disrepair, and without having to throw it away, waste money, getting something new, making it look not perfect, but kept. Another thing that I wanted to tackle today is a pillow, a vintage pillow I picked up at an antique shop somewhere. It's been sitting with a hole on the side, and so kids have pulled out the stuffing, and every time I see it, I think I need to sew up that side. But as I saw it, I remembered that it is dirty, and I thought, you know what, why don't I just, while I'm at it, remove the stuffing, wash it, restuff it, and sew it back up. If I'm going to sew it back up, I might as well first wash it, because it's not a pillow with an insert. It has stuffing in it, and so the only way to wash it would be to do it this way. And since I already had a hole, it made a lot of sense. And now the pillow is nice and clean. It's been driving me nuts for a while just how dirty it was, and it looks as good as new. I have a cup of coffee made this afternoon, and I thought it'd be a good time to give you a little update and share some of the projects going on here in our farmhouse. So if you're not up to speed on our home, we moved in 4 years ago, and we have completely redone the kitchen, the dining room, the pantry, painted everything else, refinished all of the floors, added decor. It's been a lot of projects. We've also, over on this property, we have a cottage. We've completely redone that from top to bottom and renovated 2 bathrooms completely, like basically took everything out and redid those. So we have a bulk of the work done. This house is very livable, very comfortable. If we never did another project again, it would be okay. And I'm really thankful that we're at that place right now. I have the fun part now of adding more decor and touches, bringing in antiques, wallpaper, color. I'm really having a lot of fun with experimenting with the decor in this home. And so we're in that sweet spot. If you're renovating an old house, I'm sure you're like, you just can't wait till you get to the point of being able to add flowers and candles and shine it up and just maintain the home that you have. And so I'm so thankful that we're at that spot. With that being said though, I should never say that we're done, because I enjoy making changes to this home. Something that has become necessary for us. This was something that my husband and I have been talking about over probably the last 2 years, but really got serious about this in the last few months, is a school space slash built-in dresser closet type of space in the upstairs kids' bedroom. We have like a boy wing of the house. 2 of them are currently school age, and so far we've never really had a school room. We mostly just do school at the kitchen table, at the couches, but the 2 boys were realizing more and more really need a spot where they can feel very focused. They get distracted really easily. So if I'm helping one kid with something, or Luke's helping one kid with something and another one asks the questions, we're just kind of like off the rails. Everybody's talking about something else. And so having another spot where kids can go with desks, with their books and their pencils and their lamp, all just set there, really sounds ideal. Now, I know that sometimes we think, oh, if I just have this thing, it'll make homeschool easier. I know that's not true. I do think this will help. And currently the boys' bedroom does not have ideal storage, and we're feeling that more and more. So this prompted in me a whole makeover idea. Now, I already have really pretty beds up there. I found those on Facebook Marketplace for about $10 a piece. I made bed skirts for them. I have a rug up there, but that's kind of the extent of it. It's been painted. I acquired beds. I made a bed skirt for each of the beds, and I have a rug. But there's a few problems. One is the rug is too small. It really bothers me with especially pine floors. We have these old floors that aren't hard, they are soft, and we had them completely refinished and they're already showing a lot of wear. And so one thing that I want for that room is a big rug. So I've been looking high and low. I want a rug that is similar to the vintage rug, the blue one that I found. I will leave some footage of it here. I want it extra large. I want it to be thick, nice wool rug. And I want their beds to sit completely on it, because what happens is when the beds are half off the rug, half on the rug, kids can really move them around, they can scratch the floor, the room feels very incomplete. And so that is one priority. I'm searching for a rug. I will share here some Pinterest images of the rugs that I've been saving. I had a few that I was dead set on. I took the tape measure upstairs and taped out like where the rug would go. The window that faces the south, it comes together at a diagonal, so it's not just like a square room. So it's really hard for me to measure because I have to know where it's gonna hit to know if it can fill the space. It's not just a square. So I measured what I thought would work, found a rug that I thought would work, put the tape up there and realized this is way too big. This is going to basically leave no wood around the outsides. And I'm really glad that I did that. Sometimes I get really excited about something. I see the perfect thing. I was ready to order it, and I would have been so disappointed when it got here and it was not going to work. It would have fit in the room, but it just would not have been right. So side note tip, make sure that if you are buying, especially a vintage wool rug, that you're probably going to keep forever. That's how I feel about these rugs that I've acquired over time. They are going to be in those rooms forever. They are high quality, they don't show a ton of wear, and so I want to make sure I get it right. So I haven't found the perfect rug yet, but you can see here on my Pinterest board the kind of style that I'm going for. Now for the built-ins, I want to talk about this. I need to get like a fancy software that designers have where you actually like put everything in into scale so you can visualize it. But instead what I did was I screenshotted several images and just piece them together. I'm gonna leave that image here so that you can see the idea. Basically what we want is on two sides, we want a dresser and hanging component for clothes storage. And then also Luke wants them to function sort of as lockers. So we want the boys to have a spot where they can each keep their belt, their life jacket, their helmet, just all of the things that they need at the current time. They're kind of everywhere, and we as a family very much struggle with organization. None of us are naturals at it, especially our kids. And so it's a constant rub in our home. And we feel, again, I know there's no magic bullet. There's always consistency and reminders that have to happen all the time. So I realize that. But we do feel that if the boys each have, like this will be for 2 boys, their own locker type of space, that we could keep all of their stuff together that they're going to be responsible for. So their outdoor snow bibs and their shoes. I don't know how well that's all going to work because obviously it's upstairs and they go outside from the downstairs. But I feel like it might work because things make their way up to that room anyway, and it just needs a collection spot. Nonetheless, they'll have storage even if it doesn't quite work out that everything they have goes there. Next to that, we are doing desks. Now in the photo, you don't see a bookshelf that connects all the way across. The top, at the top of those desks, it's just wide open beadboard. I do want to have a bookshelf up there so that way we can wrap the top with some kind of trim. I don't want to do like a very fancy crown molding because these particular rooms aren't fancy. They don't currently have crown molding. In this Victorian house, they reserved the crown molding for like the great room area, or I guess what would have been probably considered the parlor. And the other rooms are more casual and don't have that. So I do want to wrap it with something just to make it feel very built in, like it's always been there. And then in between the desks, we want there to be a very small bookshelf. This isn't really ideal because I think it would have flowed better if it was just one big desk that the boys put their chairs up to, but it's the separation that we really wanted. We wanted them to be able to be in their own little cubicle for school time. Not for everything. We obviously don't spend that much time on that kind of studious work, but there are certain things like reading and math where they need focus. And so we think this will help. They'll each have their own little lamp, and they will have their books that they're currently working on, their own lockers, and then a place to store more books in the middle. So this is our plan. And you will see here on my Pinterest board some of the colors I'm playing around with. So when we first had this house painted, when we moved in, we decided, since it hadn't been painted in so long, it just very much felt disjointed, that we would just have it painted. And I really went with the color palette that made sense in our last house, which was a small craftsman, shorter ceilings, very cozy feeling house. I did not comprehend how different this house was, and now I'm really craving a lot of color. I showed in a recent video that we added green wallpaper going up the steps. Since it's such a vast space, the white just kind of swallowed it up and it didn't highlight it. The green really gives it more of the character that it's calling for, and I feel the same with the boys' room. So what I'm planning to do, and again, this is all very much experimental for me. I don't have all the answers. I try things, they don't work. I try something else and then I'm like, oh, I see it, that works. And so I'm not always able to get it on the first try. So we will see if this works out, but I am thinking one of these deep blue or black, just like a very dark color, probably more in the blue, green, deep, rich color family, and then carrying that all the way around. So the built-ins and the walls will all be that same color, and then we'll obviously still have the white trim. I want to do some kind of curtains on the windows, something to bring the eye up a little bit, and maybe the color alone will do that. But I really want, this is my desire for the boys' room, and this is just one boys' room. If it all turns out fabulously and the budget was all, you know, intact, we might move on and do the same thing over in the other boys' room. But again, we'll very much just see how it goes in this room. But what I want is I want a big rug, 2 vintage beds sitting on it, the beds we currently have. I'm probably gonna get rid of the bed skirts. I love them, they look so cute. But like the boys, they're hard on everything. They're hard on everything. And so it just needs to be the most basic room. Rug, 2 beds, built in. And then whenever it's clean, everything's in, all of that. It's very plain. They each have a quilt on their bed. That is kind of my vision for it, because at the moment, I feel like no matter how much effort I put into cleaning it and putting things back where they go, there's not enough storage space, there's not the right rug, I don't have the right indestructible bedding to make it look nice. I feel like with my best efforts, the room can't look nice. And so I'm hoping that that is what I'm going to accomplish with this makeover. So I will be taking you, of course, along with it. Now, the other design plan I wanted to share with you has to do with the kitchen. So if you follow along with this channel, you might know that every few months I have to touch up the paint on my cabinets. We had them completely redone, or built actually from scratch 3 years ago, and the finish has been nothing but a problem. Now, this could have nothing to do with the original finish that was put on it. It could just be painted cabinets in general. So we'll see about that. But my friend's mom has a business, a cabinet painting business. And so we are going to be repainting the cabinets fully. I'm hoping that by doing this, we won't have to continuously touch them up. Although that does work, it does make me feel like I'm maintaining my home, it does give it a whole fresh new look. I'm really hoping that we can get a little bit more life between touch-ups by doing it this way. Now, since I'm doing that, I want to do a different color. In the pantry, we have a beautiful green, and if it wasn't like that, I would very much consider doing the green on the cabinets in the kitchen, because I really like the green. But I like the way that that pantry stands out from a very light kitchen. And so I'm thinking of going more a beige. I have a few color options that I'll show here. And then I also plan on switching out the hardware or just putting some rub and buff on it to make it more brass and follow with the vintage fixtures that I have. So that is upcoming as well. I'm really looking forward to making some of these changes and bringing you along with them. I love sharing our design process in the farmhouse, giving updates as we make progress. If you have not yet seen the full tour of our house, I will share my most recent tour, but it does need to be updated. There are things that we have since changed, but I will leave a link to that most recent tour down in the description box below. All right, well, I hope that you enjoyed going along with me for some homemaking, maintaining my home, and the update of the farmhouse that I can't wait to take you along with us. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you are brand new, please hit that subscribe button. I make new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home.